Hi, Dr. Russ here. This morning, let's take some time to help our wrists and hands. They do so much for us, and we don't think about them very much unless they're giving us trouble. So, if your hands are giving you trouble, this will help. If your hands are not giving you trouble, this will help keep them happy. We're going to go through a series of things. We're going to start by warming up our skin, awakening the senses of our hands. Then we're going to do range of motion and stretching of our hands, and we're going to finish with some simple qigong exercises to help bring new sensation to our hands and new awareness and release tension and improve circulation and just make all the tissues healthier. So I hope you've started already by rubbing. We're just rubbing the skin and giving ourselves a sensation of skin movement. Let's take our hands and gently work between the long bones. Those are the metacarpals. It's gentle pressure, sort of rhythmically. Press, release, press, release, press, release. Not too hard. Lots of acupuncture points in between the webs of the fingers, especially between the thumb and the first finger. You're spending about 5, maybe 10 seconds in between each pair of metacarpals. Gentle, gentle. So you can see my thumb is working from the palm side, and the pointer and the middle, and maybe even the ring finger too, working from the back side. The back side of your hand is called the dorsum of your hand, dorsal meaning back, and the front side of your hand is called the palmar side because that's where the palm is. Now a gentle pull, just a gentle traction on each bone. There's 2 bones in the thumb and 3 bones in all of your other fingers. Gentle pull, not too hard, and sustain that pull. So it's not like a quick yank, it's a gentle, sustained pull on every bone. Check in with your shoulders and neck. They should be relaxed. There's really no need to hold your shoulders up while you do this. They can be relaxed. Good. We've done our left hand first. Give it a little shake. And now the left hand does the right. Starting with the thumb, gentle pull. We do a lot of keyboarding and a lot of phone work. And if, like me, you work with your hands, then you really depend on these and you use these muscles a lot. And it's important to move them through their full range of motion at least once a day. Otherwise, they sort of get locked in, and literally the brain forgets what your full range of motion is. It's a real thing. It's called somatomotor amnesia. And that's why it's so important to do full range of motion, and to do it pretty regularly, and to do it attentively and mindfully, so that you're not just working the muscles, but you're also sensing it, so reminding your brain that you have this capability to move through a full range of motion. Another fun way to awaken the senses in your hands is by rubbing your fingernails together. So the fingernails on the back of the finger, it makes a nice pleasing sound, I think. And you can kind of catch the thumbnails on each other too as they pass by. You can go slow. You can go fast. You can go in the middle. It doesn't matter. But you can probably feel this is a new sensation if you've never done this before. It's vibration and touch at the same time. So you're really waking up your proprioceptors here when you do this. Another moment here. Take your time. Enjoy this. Hopefully you looked at the timestamp of the video and you see how much time this is going to take, and you've decided to dedicate that much time to the wellness of your hands. Because when they're not working, it's problematic. So now let's go and do a nice, gentle stretch of the palm. So the fingers are going as wide as they can, but they're also going back a little bit. See how I've used the muscles just to extend my fingers a little bit, just to open and gently stretch the palmar tissues, and then relax. Not a hard fist, just a gentle fist. Wide and open. So you're really getting a gentle organic stretch through the palm, simply with the action of the extensor muscles of the fingers. One more time. Full extension, gentle flexion. Now let's do some fists. Squeeze, relax. Check your shoulders. There's no need to bunch up. So the elbows just hang. Squeeze, relax. Squeeze, relax. There is a bodywork method called the Alexander method. And the developer of the Alexander method used to say, it's all about posture, basically. And he used to say, what do you do with your arms? And he said, picture them as wet raincoats hanging from a hook. So just let them dangle. And it feels really good to do that. So just let your shoulders be heavy. Let your elbows be heavy. And it's just simple forearm and wrist movement. Great. Good start. So let's stretch the flexors of our wrist, okay? So we're going to go like this, just using the muscles of the forearm to pull the wrist back, pull those fingers back, and relax. Holding the palm out in front of you, I'm holding it to the side so you get a little bit of a view of what I'm doing, and relax. Now let's increase that a little bit by taking the palm of the left hand, getting the fingers, fully straight right elbow, pulling those fingers back. Feel a deep stretch in your wrist and hand, and relax. Sometimes when people do this the first couple of times, I'll show you another angle here, they get a little tingling in the thumb or tingling in the fingers. That is because your median nerve runs right through here, through the carpal tunnel. That's where carpal tunnel syndrome comes from. It's entrapment of the median nerve in the carpal tunnel. And so if that median nerve is a little bit stuck, hasn't moved in a while, when you give it a stretch, it's going to wake up and it can send some intense sensation into the thumb and the first finger, sometimes even the side of the middle finger. If that happens, don't freak out. This time I caught my thumb, so I'm giving all 5 fingers that stretch. My elbow is straight, my shoulder is relaxed. I hope you're doing this along with me. If it's just a little sensation the first couple times that you do it, no big deal. If the tingling goes away, that's great. You just flossed your median nerve through your carpal tunnel. You did yourself a great favor. If it persists, then you're probably pulling too hard and you're going to want to ease into it. So back off. So just a stretch of the palm and the wrist flexors under its own power now. The right hand pulls. You can catch the thumb or not. That left elbow is straight, pulling those fingers back. Both shoulders are relaxed. And relax. Let's do a couple more. Notice that I'm shaking in between each one to let the blood flow back in there and let it relax. And that we're holding these stretches for 5 or 10 seconds. Definitely not bouncing, definitely not doing a ballistic stretch. The next one we're going to do is stretching the extensors of the wrist. So this is fun. This is an old Kung Fu grip. Take your thumb and all 4 fingers touch the pad of the thumb. Okay? The forearm is straight up and down, and you're going to fully flex your wrist. So the thumb is kind of being caught and flexed by the 4 fingers. Keep that elbow down and in, right? No doing this. That's a little counterproductive. Keep the shoulder relaxed and just using the muscles of the medial forearm, the front of the forearm, gently pull that thumb toward the forearm and relax. So not only are we getting a full stretch of the wrist extensors, giving them their full length, we're getting a full contraction of the wrist flexors and reminding the brain of this full range of motion, giving ourselves a mindful experience of our own movement. Now we're going to want to increase the stretch a little bit. If this feels okay, take your left hand, grasp around the fingers and the thumb. See how I've got that? It's not a squeeze, it's just a grasp. That elbow stays in, and you're going to pull the thumb and the forearm together, get a full flexion of the wrist. And where you usually feel that is right here, where the tendons of the wrist and finger extensors go over the wrist. If there's sharp pain, you're going too hard. This should feel like a nice stretch. Oh, it feels so good. One more time. Stretch. Wonderful. Really glad we're taking this time to take care of our hands. They take care of us. So the left hand, all 4 fingers on the thumb. Shoulders relaxed, elbows in. Also check in with your lower back. It should be relaxed. There's really nothing for it to do here. And a full contraction of the wrist flexors here, giving us a nice opening of the wrist extensors here. And relax. Contract. Relax. One more time. Now the other hand, grasp around the fingers and increase that stretch. You see how my elbows are coming together a little bit? Okay? As I'm pulling the thumb toward the forearm, I'm pulling the forearm toward the thumb, getting a double whammy. Good stretch. Oh yeah, really good. Okay, wonderful. Shake both hands out and take a deep breath. You can see how when I'm working my upper body, I like to breathe up into my sternum and lift my front ribs with the in-breath. It helps to relax the shoulders and put them in a better position, back and down. If you haven't watched my video on the sternal lift, free up your ribs and breathing, you might want to try that one sometime. It really helps your whole upper body posture. For this next one, we're going to do the left hand first, since we did the right hand first before. We're going to put our hand in front of us with the thumb down. Okay? So you're like this, thumb down. And what I want you to do is bend the wrist, pull the wrist toward your chest, keeping the elbow up and the forearm parallel to the floor. Just back and forth like this. If this was a 3D video, it would be pretty fun. So you notice I'm not hiking up my shoulder, right? I'm not like this. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Okay? So what you're feeling here is a gentle stretch on the back of the hand. We're going to increase that stretch now. This is where it gets a little tricky, but I'm going to talk you through it. Take your right hand, kind of make this upside down V with your thumb and first finger, and get on the palm of the hand with the thumb and the back of the hand with the pointer finger like this, okay? So you're not on the pinky, you're on the main part of the hand, the fleshy part of the hand, and we're going to do the same movement, only now it's augmented and increased a little bit by your right hand. And ooh, is that a deep stretch in the wrist? And relax. So keeping that shoulder relaxed and the forearm parallel to the floor, so you're not doing either of these things. It's like this. Pull. If you want to increase the stretch, keep your forearm parallel to the floor, but move it down. And so the full expression of this movement is to pull it toward you and down. Toward you and down. I learned this in Aikido many years ago. Something I didn't keep up with, but it was a lot of fun while I did it. And boy, did they do a lot of wrist and hand work. It's a great martial art. Thumb points down on the right hand now. Pull it toward you and relax. Pull it toward you. So keeping that palm facing to the right. Now the left hand comes over. So the thumb and the first finger make a V upside down. Grasp the fleshy part of your hand here. If this is confusing, drop me a comment. I'll try and explain it again. Good. Pulling toward me and down, and I feel the stretch all the way up to my elbow. It's flexion and full pronation. And it is a really, really, really nice stretch. One more time. Nice. Now that we have stretched in all these different planes, what we're going to try and do now is stretch out along the long axis of the arms. So we're going to try and lengthen our arms. The angle of the video, you can't see my fingers, but they're fully extended, okay? So it's a breath in, and as you breathe out, lengthen out through your arms like you're Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four or Mrs. Incredible from the Incredibles. It's just picture yourself being super elastic and this wingspan getting as wide as it can with the out breath. I'm going to do a couple more. Breathe in. And a long, long, big wingspan. Make your arms as long as they can. Oh, good. One more time. That feels good. Well done. Now, I don't know about you, but my hands are warm, even though it's a little chilly out here today. And they just feel really alive and relaxed. And I hope that felt good to you too. So let's cap it off with some qigong exercise. And there's not much movement here. It's more of a mindfulness exercise and a sensation and softening exercise. So I want you to start by imagining that stuck to this palm is a magnet, a strong one. And stuck to this palm is a magnet, also a strong one. And you know how it feels when two magnets are pulling toward each other. And you know how it feels when two magnets are in opposite identical polarity and are repelling each other. So have your palms facing each other with those magnets in them and bring them close together. And you might want to have to shift your hands a little bit to get those magnets lined up. But you're imagining them, you're visualizing them, and you can feel that magnetic pull of your palms toward each other. When your palms are closer together, it can feel pretty strong. Now we're going to imagine that the polarity of one of the magnets has flipped, and so now they are in repulsion. And there's a sense of force between your hands that is pushing them apart. As we breathe in, we're going to feel them getting pulled together. And as we breathe out, we're going to feel them getting repelled, pushed apart. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Take a moment to check your shoulders. They should be hanging like wet raincoats. Breathe in. Good. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Don't worry if you're not able to sense this strongly just yet. Come back to it a couple times a week. Keep trying, you'll find it. It helps to move your palms in this plane in relation to each other until you feel those magnets hook onto each other. Now, are we actually feeling a polarity between our hands, or have we convinced ourselves and in the power of suggestion created this sensation? And my answer to that question is, what's the difference? All of our perceptions are simply perceptions, and in a way this is all made up anyway, right? Breathe in, palms pull together. Breathe out, palms apart. Let's stick with this palms apart sensation for a few moments, feeling those magnets in repulsion to each other. And see if you can hook into and ride that sensation. And what does it feel like if you push in and push the palms toward each other with that magnetic field pushing out? You can also visualize a ball, an inflated ball between your hands, and the harder you push, the harder it pushes back against you. As you can see, my eyes are closed. You can go eyes open, eyes closed. Soft focus also works. Great. You just did some qigong. Now, with this new sensation in your hands, if you're a body worker and you've got clients today, I really encourage you to try and carry this sensation with you when you put your hands on people. You'll notice the difference. They might consciously or not consciously, notice the difference. It doesn't matter. It will be different. You'll be more relaxed. You'll feel more. And whether you believe it or not, there will be more healing taking place. So this has been Dr. Russ. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.